Hey everybody, I got word that, excuse me, well, I can't believe it. In 1992, I worked for a company called Polaris Research, and I was hired by a man, the late Noel Day. And Noel and his colleague Ernie had a project to write a study called African Americans in San Francisco from 1960 to 1990. Our client was specifically and personally now San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee. He was the head of the Human Rights Commission. And that's how I got to know Ed Lee. For me, Ed Lee never changed. He has always been the same person. He never, Ed, I don't recall Ed ever having a crossword about anyone toward me. I didn't know Ed close. I didn't know Ed like I know Libby, for example. Libby is my god sister. Okay, she's now the mayor of Oakland, but it has been for almost 4 years. Ed I knew always as a colleague and as a person that I did work for, and later as a person that I covered. But I remember when, what I always liked about Ed was that Ed always thought, and some of you are not going to believe this, about those who didn't have. And he particularly was concerned about the plight of African Americans. Now, some people sadly only, and I get this, look, I understand that people sometimes only have one reference, and that's what a public person does. And even then, the person doesn't, we know all the ins and outs about why that person did that thing, regardless of what that thing was. But for me, Ed was concerned about the future of blacks in San Francisco. And I have the study to this day to prove that. That was specifically commissioned by him. We were specifically paid by his Human Rights Commission. I'm to this day very proud of the work that I did. Noel wrote much of the text, well, really about 50% of it. I did all the numbers research. I did all of the production of the graphs. I did the presentation of the data. And that's how I got to know Ed. And Ed he was never cold. He was never mean. He was always thoughtful. I mean, always. Always thoughtful. Always thoughtful. And thank you for the condolences. Thank you. When he became mayor, I remember thinking, okay, he's mayor now, and our relationship's going to be a little different. And you know, it never was. And I think, I'll just be blunt, like, okay, maybe he's not going to speak as much, or maybe he's going to be distant, right? Nope, never was. Hey, Zenny, how you doing? Zenny, how are you? He never put on airs with me. Ever. Never refused a video interview. I've got tons of them. Ever. Never. But what I like about Ed is that he seems quiet and unassuming, but there's always this fire that burns inside him to exact change. And I go back to was one example for me. Aside from what I did, his getting the Warriors to move to San Francisco. I mean, his approach is always quietly aggressive. I mean, you can ask Joe Lacob, the Warriors owner, and Joe will tell you, because he told me. It's right there on video. He said, hey, San Francisco was aggressive. And I've heard that from a number of people. Ed, every time I think of Ed, I always think of him as smiling and nodding. I've seen him in his office. I've seen him at political events like the Pride Breakfast. I've seen him at groundbreakings. Saw him at the groundbreaking for the Transbay Transit Center. I've seen Ed so many times, it's not funny. I've talked with Ed so many times, it's not funny, both privately and professionally. Some people, you know, they're going to talk about how they're going to talk about Kate Steinle and all this stuff. People are like that. They have one issue thing, and some people make comments, particularly today on social media, that reveal how inhuman they are as humans. I ask you to think of Ed Lee as I think of him, as a person who's a true city builder, a true builder of societies, a true man who thought about people. And again, people are going to say, what are you talking about? Because he ushered in the tech development boom. And yeah, he did. Look, he wasn't the only elected official to do that. I mean, I'm not putting negative Paul on my friend Alameda County Supervisor Keith Carson, but in 1996, look, you cannot point to an elected official in office today that was in office back in the 90s, same office, who did not espouse the development of the tech sector, be it biotech, because biotech has been a focus for a long time, or social media, where Ed got Twitter into San Francisco and helped with Ron Conway, in fact, started a club that I belong to called SF City. Okay, so when you say, what's SF City? I said, thanks for that note. I didn't see it. Someone told me what the cause or what happened, because it was very sudden, his death, and he passed away at Mark Zuckerberg General Hospital. But I just forgot what I was gonna say. Man, some people you just think are gonna live forever, especially if they're 65 and I didn't know his family well enough to know, hey, something was wrong with him, right? I remember, but he was the center around which I knew other people. The mayor's director of housing, Kate, I've known her a long time. Ran into her on BART last Thursday. Was going to send her an email and say, hey, Kate, great to see you on BART. And talk about how she was helping to save affordable housing in San Francisco and create more of it. She's worked for Ed a long time and has got far more Ed stories than I do by far. Wow, I think of Ed landing the Super Bowl for San Francisco and how proud of him I was. And but again, every time I think of Ed, I don't think of accomplishments or urban development personally. I think of Ed Lee and how much of a person he was, a personable, real friend, a person who You need this, you call my office. You need that, you call my office. And he would respond, or he would have someone to respond, okay? I remember his director of innovation sought me out for some employment, some job I didn't respond to in a timely fashion because I was traveling back and forth. But dang it. Happens. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It just is. Ed Lee was a good man. Good man. A good man. And I apologize for rambling, but life is full of the events that are unexpected, and this is one of them. Yeah, I understand London breeds the acting mayor. Congratulations to London under the circumstances. Oh, man. It's, Rick Grace is real sad. Borough President London Breed will take over his term as interim mayor. Yeah, that's right. She will do that. I don't even think this is the time to think about the future. It's time to really think about Ed. Ed was mayor since 2011. So that's, yeah. He was going on through 2018. He was going on 7 years. There are people who point to affordable housing crisis and they'll try to blame him for that. But I think they would be wrong, okay? They would be wrong. There's enough blame for that to go around. But I will remember Ed Lee for, aside from my personal connection with him, aside from his willing handshake, aside from his great to see you here, Zenny, aside from all of that, is he built San Francisco into a modern version of the world-class city it always was. He successfully steered it into the 21st century. He successfully reestablished it as the crown jewel of the Bay Area, when at a time it looked like either Oakland or San Jose was going to overtake it. He brought greatness back to San Francisco. As much as an Oakland booster like me might hate that, he did. And there was a period from the mid-90s, or from the 90s, through to, I would say, to be blunt, about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that Oakland tried to unseat San Francisco, but it wasn't the idea I should be clear, it wasn't the idea to unseat San Francisco's supremacy, but to get out of San Francisco's shadow. Now there are those in Oakland who seem content to be in that shadow. And the erection of Salesforce Tower kind of cements that, because it quite literally towers over the Bay Area. It's the tallest building on the West Coast now. And it's right there in the San Francisco's financial district. You cannot miss it. That is a living testament to what Ed Lee, or how Ed Lee has built San Francisco. And that Transbay Transit Center, I have in 2007, I have a video of the competition that led to that. It was around longer than Ed Lee was mayor, but Ed certainly pushed forward its construction and development. That came from Willie Brown. It goes all the way back to San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, another great friend of Ed Lee's, another great man. Oh boy, excuse me. Yeah. All right. Oh. Oh, well, okay. Thank you all very much for your condolences. I'm gonna miss you, Ed. I'm gonna miss you a lot. It's like I thought you were gonna be around forever, man. I really did. This really, really, really thought. I really thought he was gonna be around forever. All right, see ya.